Hey, Ginger from Coastal Mullen, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. They sent me around the block this morning. They sent me to the wrong person.
I know.
They were like, no. They're like, no, we're not scheduled for today. We're scheduled for next. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, I apologize for the misunderstanding.
Oh no, and I called the press girl for the tour and she said, "It's my bad. I sent them the wrong station number." I said, "This is on you if I don't get to talk to Nicole."
Aww.
Well, I honestly can say that I haven't interviewed you in years. And I'm so excited to interview you now. This tour is so awesome. It's like a jukebox of my last couple of decades.
Oh, yay. Yay. Mine too, actually.
Well, I actually met you with my kids at the World Pulse Festival in South Bend, Indiana. I grew up with Bart Millard, so like we tagged along to some of the events he was doing, and you guys just happened to be playing together. And you're the reason my 20-year-old even cared about Christian music because at that time she was about 8 or 9, and she was like not having nobody. She didn't want to hear Bart. She didn't want to hear anybody. And then when we went to World Pulse Festival, she said that girl, and she was like her, and I was like okay. And then she was like, then she got all like stuffed up. Like when she met you, she couldn't even talk. But
Oh,
but I got her picture, so she was excited.
super sweet. Did you get a picture of both of us together?
I get yeah, you actually you me and all three of my kids who were all little at
You
the
have to
time.
send it.
So
You
yeah,
have to send it.
I think your dad was in it too. Your dad was with you at that time.
Well, you definitely have to send me a copy if you can put your hands on it. I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, I actually pulled it out when I got scheduled on your interviews because I was like, I gotta find that picture, and I had it somewhere in my Facebook stuff, and so I found it just to make sure I could pull that out. And I'm like, she's cool,
Oh,
but this was when she was the coolest in our world. I think the backup dancers was part of the allure for her, but
I'm
she then when she met you, she just couldn't talk, and then she talked about you all the way home, like she was so excited.
oh,
And I
how
was,
sweet.
you know, what's so awesome about you is I think you probably don't realize it, like most artists don't, is that you truly your music. Like I left my husband in 2005, and you got me through being a single mom and going through court after court after court and just years of that. In fact, my last one didn't graduate until 2016. So I mean, Call on Jesus was one of my big ones. My Redeemer, I mean, listening to Redeemer and I Am. Like, I just constantly needed that reminder of his power, and you just made such a difference in my life. And I had to tell you that first.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for and for me though, that's what it's about. It's about us worshiping God and encouraging other people to lean into Him. And I'm always so grateful, honestly, when I hear like stories like yours of you all like inviting me into your life and saying, you know, hey, do the journey with me, even when I wasn't present. The Lord allowing the loaves and the fish that I gave Him to be present, you know, Him infusing it with His Spirit. So I'm just as encouraged by hearing it. It humbles me for real. I know it was not a Nicole, but it was really to God be the glory. So I'm grateful. But thank you for inviting me along the ride, you know, because you know, the Lord has done the same for me as I've gone through my night seasons. He has sang over me. He's given me songs to take me through, carry me through, you know, pray me through. And so I'm just so thrilled to be a part of, like, being able to help other people or continually to help other people get through there. So thank you. Thank you for saying that.
And then when you came out with an album this year, I literally squealed. Like,
Oh, yay!
I'm like, where I'm trying not to wear everybody out on one song, so I'm sparsing out one song at a time.
What's your song? What's your
Greater
song?
Still is one I've probably played the most.
Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. Wow.
But you know, there was sometimes I wouldn't even necessarily recall the entire song in my head at the time, but I would be sitting out of court crying, and I had been abused for about 10 years, and when I left, the church left me. Like the church just, like because I'm the one that filed, and it was one of those things where I thought if anything they should have been there for both of us. It had nothing to do with the church didn't do it, but there were times in court where I'd be sitting there trying to recall things like to strengthen my mind, and there would be times where all I could think of is who told the ocean you can only go so far, and it would just be like I couldn't even recall the name of your song, but then it'd be one of those songs where I'd recall just enough of the lyrics to breathe me through the next moment, and that's anointing on music when that happens.
God be the glory. Thank you, Lord. So for me, you know what I'm saying, and for me to hear it though, because you and I have endured certain like similar crushing, and to know that the Lord really does use the oil from our crushing to help other people kind of get through their seasons. Like for me, it's like, it was good for me that I was afflicted. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And without me trying to sound super spiritual, and it really just come back to like, well, then I thank you. Then it was worth it because I understand the heart of God. I really do. I understand the thing of, like you're saying, really the church should have been there to cover us both, to walk us both through, to counsel us, to help us, to, not throw stones and cast out, but to say, how can we heal? How can we help repair first? And if we can't repair you as a couple, let us help repair you as individuals,
Right.
know. And so those stones, I'm not trying to throw any stones at the church because we need the local bodies.
Right.
But the local bodies are made up of individual members that still have to be redeemed, that are still walking through some of their own stuff. So sometimes when, even people in ministry, like I'm in ministry and you're in ministry, when we're not healed and we're still hurt, we have the tendency to hurt other people unless we get our own hurts to the Lord. And that goes for pastors included. No stones thrown, because I respect the pastors that are there. But I'm just saying, so they are also individual sheep that, have to let the Lord, do his, ministry on them so that they can minister and we can minister effectively to those who really hurting that are among us, and we can do it the right way.
Well, and my mom introduced me to your music, honestly, in the very beginning, because it was right before I started in radio, and my mom was like, "You've got to hear this girl," and so we were both sold on it. So as you would release songs to Christian radio, we would both flip out. So like my mom was like, "Tell her Linda from Texas is a big fan." She's like, "I can't think of a question." She's like, "All I need her to know is I just love her."
Give her a big hug for me, please.
I will. And this tour, I mean, I told Billy Wood New Song the other day. I said, "You got to know how ingenious this is." And he said, "Well, we've been trying to do this for a while." But I said, to put through this, like, set of people like Point of Grace, Rebecca St. James, Nicole, and Bob Carlisle, and all these Avalon. I mean, like, it's got to be incredible for you too, because you guys can be lifting up each other, and it's like I wish this tour could go for a little bit longer, but I know that's a lot to get everybody together for dates like that. That's a lot of different people to get together. But so were you excited when you were like, are you ready to go back out on tour with all these guys?
Well, yeah, like I've never really toured with them, even though we've all crossed paths on certain dates here and there. But I was really excited when you song hit me up and like even brought up the idea of, hey, if we did this, would you be interested? And I was like, that would be so cool, And because a lot of these songs are songs that I've loved as well. And at the same time, these are songs that not only did we sing, but we're still singing them.
Yes.
Like I just got from England last night, and I was singing Redeemer. They still sing Calling Jesus. They still sing on my knees. I was in Paris, the week and a half before that, and I was still singing the same songs. And I kid you not, Ginger, it was as if the Lord, he just keeps breathing new life upon it. And although for some it has been a bedrock for them for many years, for others it's a new song. And when these songs, not just mine, but the songs of these great artists are saying, it's like people are hearing it sometimes anew for the first time. Sometimes it's reminding you of where you were and where God brought you from.
Yeah.
But the way the Spirit of God moves upon certain things, it still is something that can still take you forward. And so that to me is a testament, not of like us writing great songs, not of us being great artists, but of the Spirit of God being able to be relevant in every situation, in every generation, in every culture, to make sure that we are encouraged, we're infused, and that we grow up in Him.
Well, I was so glad to see you on this, and I gotta tell you, I'm now gonna be looking for you anywhere near. Like, you got to keep touring, girl. You can do like a handful of dates a year as long as it's in Georgia, Texas, or Michigan. I'm gonna hit you up.
Well, hey, I'm going to be in Texas. We're planning on doing the My Redeemer Conference in Texas, March 1st and 2nd.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, it'll be 2 days of worship and testimony. It'll be me and my friends will be sharing just about how the Lord has redeemed us in areas of health, in areas of finance, in areas of relationships. And then we'll be singing, of course, as well. And so we'll end with a concert on Saturday night. But it's for women. It's for women of all like denominations, ages, and stages, and especially for us who have been wounded in the soul. You know, who are in need of healing, who are in need of like, okay, what are my next steps? How do I go to the next level, even with what I've gone through? How can God take it and use it for His glory? And so it'll be us sharing from our hearts, you know, honest and raw and authentic, and then giving practical application for women to go home with.
Oh, like that already gives me chills, and I can take my crazy Texas mama with me. And thank you so much for coming back out with some new music. Like I just want to encourage you. I know Rebecca St. James said something similar. She said that even though she had been working with her brothers on some of their music, that like this plus the tour, like it reignited a fire in her to start writing again already. She was already getting ready to start writing, and she said she already had like lyrics all in her head. She had not put to paper yet, just because of thinking of it. And she said, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a lot of writing on the tour. So I hope this, like, I know it's hard to just, tour because we're dying to see you, but just know there is, and what's great about it is I was able to, I mean, my girls were young when they met you, but then they kind of forgot, they get, after that, how it is. They kind of, there's so many of them after I got into radio that it was hard for them to keep them straight. And then later on, I had to show my young girls, like they're 20 and 23 now. So, but I showed them later on, here's the picture. All they had to do is see a picture of you and your dancers, and they were like, yes, that girl, and so I reintroduced them and said, here's a song. Like, do you not remember this? But as little as my youngest was, she could remember parts of I Am and Redeemer. And she said, because she said, I know that. She said, that's the, I know that, like, she's like, it was just so cute because she just, that part is so powerful when you sing that. Like, I just want you to do, like, I know that I know for about 10 minutes and, like, until everybody has got the picture, because sometimes they need more than just a couple of I know that I know, I'm so sorry that we got mixed up today, but oh, I am so grateful that you were able to still call in and do the interview, because you are just one of the most beautiful inside and out. You're one of the most beautiful individuals I've ever encountered, and your music has truly been a lifeline for me for so many years, and I can't wait to see you. I can't. I'm really looking forward to March now, because now obviously that's a trip I'm making. I go down 2 or 3 times a year to see my mom and spend a couple weeks. So that's definitely one of those weeks I will be there.
Invite your friends. Make sure you invite your friends as well.
Oh, absolutely. I got plenty of cousins. they're all in they're all in Texas. So yeah, absolutely. Well, bless you so much, Nicole, for calling and doing the interview and for doing this tour. I hope this reignites a whole other, generation. I hope women bring their daughters like I did initially. And I think there could be like 3 generations with my mom and my age and my daughter's age. and just
Yeah.
reintroduce some people, or for some of us, reignite a fan favorite. So I'm excited to have you on this tour, and thank you so much for doing it, and thank you for putting out new music this year. Thank you for the squeal I got to do as soon as I did a happy dance as soon as I got some new music from you.
My pleasure, and all the above. My pleasure. Thank you so much for offering us a platform to be heard as well. So we thank you for what you do and your part in it. So you are needed and you are important as well. So thank you very much, Jessica.